What if Padme convinced Obi-Wan to save Anakin on Mustafar? Let's explore the depths of it in the video. Padme feels her legs threatening to buckle underneath her as the weight of this news comes crashing down. She thinks about it and then finds herself unable to react. It can't be right, but all of this makes too much sense, and the signs are impossible to ignore. She turns and faces Obi-Wan, her expression pleading as she thinks on everything he's just said. If it's true, then one thing is clear. Anakin is in grave danger.
Obi-Wan, you must save him then. It is as you said. He has been deceived. Palpatine was his friend. He must be lying to him, manipulating him somehow.
That doesn't excuse the crimes he's committed. He's done unspeakable things, Padme. Anakin must be stopped.
Maybe. But we should do it on our terms. If there's still good in him, then there's a chance. You saw his manipulations and chose to stand against him. Doesn't he deserve that opportunity?
Obi-Wan frowns and looks down at the floor, pondering his words. Part of him wishes to say no, the part that recalls the younglings being slaughtered, the part which saw the horrible things Anakin's done in the name of the Sith. But then he recalls his friend, recalls the kind man he was, and the man who often fought for justice, being willing to do what others couldn't, who never hesitated to help others even when it broke the rules. He thinks back and realizes that perhaps that was why he had turned against the Jedi. All the rules and restrictions, all the times they had failed him. But not this time.
Then we should get going, now.
The two of them hurry to Padme's ship, which takes off in the night. However, by the time they arrive, Anakin has already finished the mission. He stands over the body of Newt Gunray, coldly stepping over the fallen Neimoidian and the other members of the CIS Council. It was a one-sided battle, but the results are dramatic, as it gave Anakin access to shutdown orders of the remaining droids, ending the war in a stroke. He walks out of the room, feeling a sense of pride. In contrast to his last mission, this one was easy to do. The CIS Council was filled with monsters, and he found little shame or hesitation in cutting them down, no matter how much they begged. But as he prepares to depart, he notices a ship approaching the landing pad and instantly recognizes Padme's transport. He puts his lightsaber away as the ramp opens, but his eyes widen as he sees not just Padme, but Obi-Wan as well.
What is he doing here?
He's here because he cares about you, Annie. We both do. We're here to stop you from making a huge mistake.
You're too late. The deed is done. The Council is dead and I have brought peace to the galaxy.
At what cost, Anakin? You've lost yourself in the process. This isn't you. And what you're bringing about isn't peace. It's domination from the dark side.
Please, Annie, stop this. You don't have to serve Palpatine.
You don't understand. I don't want to serve Palpatine. I want to overthrow him. Once he gives me what I want, I will get rid of him. And together we can rebuild this galaxy and make it better.
Anakin, listen to yourself. You would betray everything you stood for to achieve this goal. That isn't what you want, Anakin. I know it. Please, Anakin. I don't want to fight you.
Annie, listen to us.
For a moment, doubt flickers across his face as he looks at them, the two people who matter most to him. While he initially felt angry at seeing Obi-Wan here, it's slowly replaced with doubt and shame. He looks away, his hand drifting from his lightsaber as Obi-Wan raises his hand and takes a step closer, showing he is unarmed.
Obi-Wan, I've done things. Terrible things.
I know. But whatever things you've done, you now have a chance to begin making things right. But only if you help us.
Obi-Wan advances closer, reaching for his lightsaber and dropping it to the ground. He stares into Anakin's eyes, imploringly, spreading his arms out.
Anakin, please.
Anakin reaches for his lightsaber, but then lets it drop to the ground too. Padme runs up to her husband and embraces him, tears streaming down his eyes. Soon, Anakin feels the same way as he holds her tight. The trio quickly leaves and heads back to Coruscant, contacting Master Yoda, who is confronting the Emperor. Unfortunately, by the time they return, they find that Yoda has failed and barely escaped with his life. The Chancellor jumps at this opportunity to further claim the Jedi are plotting against the Republic. They act quickly, with Anakin distracting the Chancellor while Obi-Wan and Padme make their case. Taking Obi-Wan's lightsaber with him, Anakin makes his way to Palpatine's office as proof of his victory. Anakin now demands that Palpatine teach him how to save Padme's life.
My boy, I must say I am impressed. Truthfully, I did not expect you to triumph over your master, but now I am more certain than ever that you are strong enough to be my apprentice.
He begins to explain the powers that he learned from his master. Essence transfer. He offers to show him how to transfer Padme's being into another person, ensuring her survival. However, as Anakin hears about this, he grows more and more horrified. The explanation of this power hits him like a blaster bolt, and he realizes how monstrous this power truly is. More importantly, what he has done to gain this power. Now, more than ever, Anakin is certain that he cannot trust Palpatine and go through with this. His gaze hardens as he shakes his head.
That is not what we agreed to. You promised that you would save her. This doesn't sound like that at all. You lied to me.
Stop being so naive, my dear boy. It doesn't suit you. Did you truly believe that one could simply save her? Power like this does not come without a cost.
And yet you didn't tell me this.
Consider it a slight deception. I am a politician after all.
What a coincidence. I did the same thing.
Suddenly, Palpatine's confident expression crumbles as he stares at him. Anakin smiles and gestures out the window to the Senate floor, where Padme is giving a speech to the Senate, accompanied by Obi-Wan. She talks about how new evidence has come to light, vindicating the Jedi and proving that they were innocent. Among them is a recorded confession from Anakin, including all the evidence he gathered during their time spent together. Almost instantly, Palpatine can feel the shift in the room as he sees Padme has managed to win them over. Soon, they are starting to vote for Palpatine's impeachment. He is so stunned that he barely notices Anakin igniting his and Obi-Wan's lightsabers.
I would ask you to make this easy, but I think I'd rather cut you down.
He smirks, and Palpatine counters with a burst of Force lightning. The Jedi blocks these attacks by crossing the lightsabers, giving Palpatine his chance to rush him, his lightsaber flashing. Anakin parries the first few slashes and then sidesteps another thrust. He catches Palpatine's arm and throws him against the wall. The Emperor hits it with a loud thud and watches as Anakin rushes forward, swinging his lightsabers in a wide arc. He moves low, feeling the sparks flashing above him, and he tries to stab forward, though Anakin manages to twist aside and avoid it. As the Jedi leaps back, Palpatine raises a chair from his desk and hurls it at him. It sends Anakin sprawling on the ground as the Emperor looks over at him with a smirk.
I had expected more from you, boy. You are the chosen one. You are still as unbalanced and hopeless as ever. How you managed to defeat Dooku, I'll never know. But I do know this. You will not be able to save your wife.
Snarling, Anakin springs forward, avoiding Palpatine's downward swing. However, this is just as the older man wants, as he braces himself against the oncoming attack. He blocks and parries each strike, feeling the rage fueling him. It would have been a challenge, but Anakin's anger is unguided, and he can't land a blow. Suddenly, the Emperor catches his next strike and shoves him back, and strikes him with another burst of Force lightning. This time, Anakin is too slow to avoid it, and it strikes him across the chest, sending the young Jedi flying back. Palpatine advances on him, preparing to finish him off. When their eyes lock, he can still see hints of the dark side in him. A smile forms on the Emperor's lips, but then he can hear shouting from the Senate floor. His amusement fades as he hears the Senate now calling for their guards to arrest him. Without another word, he turns and runs off just as the Senate guard arrives moments later, accompanied by Obi-Wan, who helps Anakin to his feet. The guards are sent after him, but unfortunately, it seems they are too late, and a few loyal supporters manage to escape as well, disappearing into space. However, his hold over the Senate is broken, allowing Padme to take over and begin restoring democracy as it should have been, with the end of the war. Without Palpatine, and with many of his most trusted lieutenants either in hiding or arrested, Mon Mothma becomes the newest chancellor. Together with Bail, Senator Chuchi, and Padme, the Republic is reformed. Their first step is to remove all the clone inhibitor chips, to ensure that no official can ever control this power, and add new laws to ensure such things can never be used. The next step is to pardon the Jedi and to help them restore the Jedi Temple. However, these events have shown just how dangerously intertwined the Order has become with the Republic, and they politely decline. Instead, Yoda, Obi-Wan, and the few surviving Jedi decide to regroup in the Outer Rim to begin repairing their reputation and reconnect with the Force. In particular, Yoda invites them to begin training with him, recalling what Qui-Gon Jinn warned him. Many follow him to Dagobah. But one exception is Anakin. After the recent events, he can't bring himself to face his former comrades. He agrees to help the Jedi Order and hunt down the remaining Imperials, but remains largely isolated from the rest of them. The only exception to this is Yoda and Obi-Wan, who visit from time to time and share their teachings with him. He instead begins one-to-one lessons with them, trying to fully bring himself back into the light. It is difficult, as each time he tries to meditate, he's reminded of all his failures. He remembers how he fell to the dark side, how he murdered so many people, and how he failed to stop Palpatine. This frustration grows with each failed meditation and each attempt to reconnect with the Force. He imagines the disgust the other Jedi must be feeling towards him, and it breaks the tenuous connection. Meanwhile, Palpatine and his remaining forces regroup in a remote base still loyal to him. He gathers his troops around, a fraction of what the Republic has to throw at them. With the Republic hunting them and the CIS remnants eager to see him destroyed, he has few allies to count on. This places him in an impossible position, but he still has a plan. He pulls up a map of the unknown regions and plans to retreat there with his remaining forces. Palpatine has already discovered several planets that could potentially serve as a base, and ancient Sith facilities that can produce weapons and supplies for an army. But first, he must gather his forces and make preparations for this journey. With his remaining forces, he launches an all-out offensive across the core worlds. They have no military objective beyond causing as much destruction as possible to draw some blood. Entire systems suddenly come under attack as recruits for the new TK Stormtrooper program are rushed into battle, capturing cities and arresting civilians. These soldiers do not have any specific objective beyond drawing out the Republic forces for battle. The Senate responds quickly, deploying their clone forces to deal with them. By now, these clone legions are hardened veterans, and without any foes to fight. Entire legions are redeployed to face the insurgents, and this turns into a series of short but brutal clashes that favor the Republic. For the moment, it seems like Palpatine's forces will collapse, but these soldiers are simply sacrifices. Divisionary strikes meant to keep the Republic forces occupied. The very best of his forces, Inquisitors, elite clone units, and special forces, are all deployed to critical systems to capture figures of interest who could be useful in this effort. Scientists, engineers, soldiers, and political leaders. Some of these are loyal and go voluntarily, but others are simply kidnapped and forced to serve. In particular, the Kaminoans are targeted for this, for their cloning technology, as Palpatine has something special planned for them. These do not entirely escape the Republic's notice, as they see figures under observation disappearing, but simply do not know why. The Jedi are deployed to help look for them, gathering their allies to try and counter these efforts as best they can. On the battlefield, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Commander Cody lead an assault on an occupied Tantus base, where intelligence suggests a high-value target is being held. The battle is fierce, worse than most, as Palpatine kept his best troopers in reserve to counter any potential Jedi offensive. These defenders are not simply conscripts, but elite soldiers handpicked for their loyalty and stiffened by a few loyalist clones. They are garbed in dark armor and a ruthless mindset that throws themselves into battle without regard for their lives. They have dug in through the base, firing with gun emplacements and rocket launchers. This forces Obi-Wan to fight hard. Protecting the advancing 212th, he deflects the worst of their attacks. From above, Cody and an elite airborne squad fire upon the gunners, driving them back and eventually breaking through the facility. Even inside, the fighting takes place from hall to hall as soldiers fight to the last. While they fight, the Imperial officers desperately organize an evacuation, not for their soldiers, but for their prisoners. As the first shuttle takes off, Obi-Wan realizes they are short on time and orders Cody to slow them down. His jetpack troopers rush to the hangar, boarding ships before they take off or disabling ships as they try to escape. Obi-Wan, meanwhile, fights his way to the lower levels, looking for anyone who could be free and for any information of value. These facilities are guarded by Inquisitors, whom he battles through. However, by then, most of the prisoners are dead, executed by their captors or escorted out. As his troops secure the prison, they see that many of the captives are clones, all but one. Nala Se, the Kaminoan chief scientist, is imprisoned.
Nala Se, I see you found yourself tangled up in this mess.
I do not work here willingly, General. I was taken against my will, and had you not arrived sooner, I may not have been seen again.
Oh? And why is that?
I believe Palpatine is working on a new cloning project. That is why he wished to take me, to work on it.
And where was it?
I don't know. I don't think the guards even know either. They just said it is in the unknown regions.
Obi-Wan's eyes widen as he hears that. The unknown regions are vast and dangerous. If Palpatine manages to escape there will be no chance of tracking him down. He orders the troops to gather whatever information they can from the computers and to take the prisoners to safety. The Republic is equally anxious to learn about this plan and prevent further chaos. A large campaign is organized to hunt down and destroy Palpatine's forces, but they still have few leads on how to find the Emperor. In desperation, the Republic turns to the Jedi for help. They decide to try and gather their forces to use the Force to locate him. But for this to succeed, they need Anakin. He recognizes Palpatine better than anyone and can help track him down. Yet Anakin remains reluctant to join the Jedi Order. Even as Yoda approaches him personally, he does not agree to anything. During one of their training sessions, Yoda observes the young Jedi, the conflict brewing within him as good and evil war within. Doubt, shame, and anger, all mixing.
Let go of your anger, you must. Face your shame, you will. Only then, clarity will you find.
Anakin's face is tense, his jaw clenched as he struggles with the torrent of emotions surging within him. Memories of the Jedi Temple massacre, of the younglings' terrified faces, haunt his mind.
I don't know if I can. Their faces, they're always there. What would the Jedi Order say?
Mistakes define you, they do not. Learn from them, you must. Forgive you, they will. In time. But first, forgive yourself, you must. Only by doing this can you make things right and avenge those who have fallen.
Anakin closes his eyes, taking a deep breath. Slowly, he allows himself to feel the weight of his guilt. Not to bury it, but to acknowledge it. The tears come unbidden, but he does not resist them. Hours pass in meditation until Anakin finally feels a shift within himself. The anger and shame, though not gone, no longer consume him. They are a part of him, but they do not define him.
Ready, you are.
Together, Anakin and Yoda join the remaining Jedi and decide to begin their ritual in the jungles of Dagobah, where they are free from distractions and can focus their powers. They form a circle, their hands resting on the floor as they channel the Force together. The room hums with power as their collective focus reaches out across the galaxy. Even with this power, it would be nearly impossible for them to track him down, as Palpatine is a master at hiding his presence. However, with Anakin, things are different. He is acutely aware of how Palpatine's presence in the Force feels. It is much harder for him to hide it from the young Jedi. Anakin, now centered, becomes the key to their search. His connection to Palpatine, once a source of manipulation and pain, now serves as a beacon. He follows the dark thread of the Emperor's presence through the currents of the Force. A sudden, sharp vision floods his mind. A shadowed fortress in the outer rim that pulses with dark energy.
I know where he is. We can stop him.
The final assault begins on the desolate world of Lola Sayu, where Palpatine's fortress looms like a scar against the horizon. The Republic fleet emerges from hyperspace, engaging the remnants of Palpatine's navy in a fierce space battle. As capital ships keep their distance, their starfighters rush forward to engage the fleets, keeping their forces occupied and preventing them from getting reinforcements. Dropships descend toward the fortress, carrying clone battalions and Jedi alike. One of the first to leap down is Yoda, who takes command of the Republic forces, his lightsaber flashing and deflecting the shots from the Imperial Defense Forces. He then throws a shockwave that sends the Imperials flying back. The clone gunships take the opportunity to land reinforcements, sending waves of clones to join the battle. A tenuous beachhead is soon secured, giving them a chance to push forward. From the command center, Commander Cody directs his troops, taking out strategic sites like gun emplacements and power generators that supply the main base. Once those begin to weaken, it allows Obi-Wan and Anakin to infiltrate the fortress, pushing through the weakened defenses. Behind them, the battle is chaotic, the air thick with smoke and the sound of explosions. But Yoda's presence anchors the troops, inspiring them to push forward. As the two press deeper, they ignite their lightsabers, feeling the malevolent energy all around them as the dark side practically emanates from the walls. Though Anakin tries to block it out, a small part of him can sense the evil energies trying to reach out to him and pull him back into the hole he climbed out of. Obi-Wan places a hand on his shoulder.
Are you okay?
I'll be fine. I just need a moment.
All right. Just keep your wits about you. I need you level-headed. You know, Padme would be proud if she saw you now. You've come such a long way since Mustafar. Farther than I would have expected.
Not far enough to come back to the light.
Anakin, you wake up every day and choose to do better. That is more than most could ask for.
Thank you, Master.
Together, the two follow the darkness, ignoring its temptation as it leads them to a set of dark chambers at its very heart. Here, the energy is practically overwhelming, but they press on and open the door, finding Palpatine, seated on a throne of twisted metal and bone, his face contorted into a sneer, dark energy crackling at his fingertips.
Skywalker, still weak as ever. You disappoint me.
And yet here he is, ready to arrest you.
Laughing, Palpatine leaps up from his throne, flying through the air as he ignites his lightsaber. The duel erupts in a blaze of light and sound. Palpatine's lightning arcs out, trying to force the pair to step back and scatter. The two raise their lightsabers and block the attacks, barely halting them as Palpatine looks at the two of them. He sees this initial attack fail as he suddenly unleashes a wave of dark energy. Anakin hisses in pain, the dark energy burning his skin and practically screaming at him to let it in. Obi-Wan, meanwhile, struggles to fight back this assault, swinging his lightsaber and disrupting the dark energies. He urges Anakin to fight it as he springs towards Palpatine, his lightsaber striking down towards it. The Emperor is briefly taken back by the unexpected aggression. He steps back as Obi-Wan presses the attack, hacking and slashing to give Anakin a chance to recover. He comes from Palpatine's side and jabs his lightsaber forward. The Chancellor narrowly avoids this attack, whirling back and aiming a cut at his neck. Anakin ducks underneath but feels another concentrated burst of dark energy. He stumbles back from this assault and Palpatine takes a step closer, advancing towards him. Obi-Wan tries to provide him some relief, moving to intercept this strike. His strikes cause a momentary lapse, but Palpatine leaps over his strike and then kicks him back. He glances over at Anakin, urging him to fight it, shouting at him to get up as he whirls towards him, trying to rush Palpatine. The Emperor is ready for this, though, catching his lightsaber and redirecting it towards the ground, then stabs his lightsaber towards Obi-Wan, catching him towards the neck. He screams and stumbles back. Palpatine follows up and tries to finish him off, but narrowly avoids it. The screams seem to wake Anakin up as he leaps to his feet and suddenly roars, stabbing at him. Palpatine tries to dodge this attack, but his hand grabs the Emperor by the neck and slams him against the wall. Anakin then tries to slash at him, forcing Palpatine to duck through the attack. He steps back and then slowly begins unleashing more of that dark energy. However, this time, it falls on deaf ears, and he keeps moving, taking a step closer. Their lightsabers cross, but Anakin's strength is like nothing Palpatine's seen, starting to push it down and then slamming him against the wall again. Before he can react, Anakin slashes him in the throat and lets him go, dropping him to the ground. The battle soon ends after Palpatine's death, giving the Republic the victory. With Palpatine dead, the planned retreat to the unknown regions is in chaos. The Republic gathers whatever information it can and uses this to quickly go after the other locations and hunt down other Imperial groups. With each group falling one by one, it is another step that prevents them from putting their plan into action. Soon, the few survivors are captured and defeated, letting the Jedi at last put this war behind them, while the Republic begins rebuilding. That's our theory. The Star Wars universe is a galaxy filled with exciting stories and possibilities, and we love exploring them. If you want to accompany us on this journey to a galaxy far, far away, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.